Hello everyone, my name is Emma, and this is my anti-discrimination project for my Psychology of Prejudice and Discrimination course. Anti-Discrimination Project, Breaking the Status Quo, with poetry. A note, my intention for this project is to upload this presentation to YouTube and gain views, potentially changing the perspectives of viewers. I have measured my progress throughout this project by reading these poems to loved ones to ensure that there is no mistaken bias. My poems and my reflections truly moved everyone. I have also made sure to really put myself in the shoes of those who are discriminated against to evoke feeling and emotion in my poems. I expected the emotional result to be a feeling of empowerment, and I was right. The more and more I consider the issues going on with discrimination, the more and more empowered I feel to write these poems and to stand up for others. I also expected a feeling of self-consciousness and embarrassment. However, I overcame that after giving a lot of thought to the issues of discrimination. I partly accomplished my goals, as I got good reactions from my loved ones. However, one of my other goals was to write positively about the discriminated against individuals, which I did in my reflections, but not in the actual poems. I had a hard time with this, as I was emotionally struck and wanted to emphasize the negative aspects of what those who are discriminated against go through. My first poem is called Self-Preservation, and it's about mental health discrimination. Self-preservation. Don't say it aloud. Mask it to keep yourself safe. You're okay for now. Those who struggle to ask for help when they feel weak and tired from mind battles, this is for you, to remind you that you're not alone. Mental health is something I hold very close to my heart. I find that my past experiences and connections with different people have shaped why I care so much about mental health today. My mother was especially moved by this poem, as someone who has seen all that I have been through with mental health adversities. This haiku captures the pain of trying to contain emotions, especially sadness, to ensure safety from judgment or from being hurt more. I hope those who don't understand mental health read this and feel the heaviness in their chest. Those who struggle with their mental health are not broken and are certainly not making it up. Let the stigma and discrimination of those who battle poor mental health diminish. Let's all care for and support each other. My second poem is called A Shape They Can't Accept, and it's about body size discrimination. A shape they can't accept. Look the other way. Ashamed is all I can feel. They're laughing at me. I have struggled with eating disorders for as long as I can remember. Those diagnosed with eating disorders are actually some of the most resilient and strongest people. They have not only gone through emotional pain, but they have also gone through physical pain. We cannot simply stop binge eating or stop starving ourselves. It is not a choice. And no, we are not attention-seeking. We, as a society, can make a difference in someone with an eating disorder's life in simple ways. For one, instead of calling someone diagnosed with anorexia nervosa an anorexic, we can instead start by practicing saying, person with an eating disorder. The word labels people with anorexia nervosa and reinforces the idea that only thin people have anorexia nervosa. Additionally, we can support mental health funding for schools and campuses. Writing this poem changed me compared to my prediction in ways that I did not think possible. I felt more emotional than I predicted, and as a result, feel stronger regarding my thoughts on this type of discrimination. My third poem is called Her, and it's about gender discrimination. Her. Slut? Am I really? I am a college student. I am a woman. Writing this haiku was certainly emotional. Reading it makes me feel angry. Angry that women are still underpaid, are catcalled, have to have a dress code. Why must it be like this? I have seen female gender discrimination everywhere. For example, why aren't female sports as romanticized as male sports? There is certainly less coverage. Additionally, why is there less support for women going into STEM as opposed to men? There are so many examples out there. We can educate. We can teach people about sexism and reproductive rights. Examples of female gender discrimination in real life are the following. For example, when Malala Yousafzai was shot for promoting girls' rights. Serena Williams. These women are women, not fat, ugly, and nasty, as quoted by our president. They are resilient, powerful, and strong. I certainly made this poem, along with the other poems that I wrote, rather dark and sad, a goal that I did not intend on reaching. My original goal was to write some positive poems. I suppose anger just took over me, and I came to the conclusion that I want all my readers to see what it is, at least somewhat like, to be in the shoes of those who are discriminated against. My fourth poem is called Forgotten, and it's about ableism. Forgotten. I can't find my way, even on my own campus. Where's the inclusion? This poem specifically illustrates the lack of options available to those who have disabilities, specifically those in a wheelchair or for those who have a hard time walking. Real inclusion is not exclusion. We exclude too much when we put those with special needs in a separate class from their peers, when we refuse to accept accommodations for those with disabilities. The real problem here is many people do not understand disabilities. Likewise, we fear something that is unfamiliar. Let's provide more education and increase positive exposure. Those with disabilities are not useless, and here's why. Stephen Hawking. He knew more about black holes and cosmology more than we could ever comprehend. Creative problem solving. There is always room for creativity and a different perspective, and disabled folks give that. The next time you interact with a disabled person, remember these things. My fifth poem is Never, They Say, and it's about discrimination against physical appearance. Never, they say. They say you'll never, that you'll never ever date, that you'll never lead. Specifically, this poem aims to illustrate the struggles of men who are not the conventional tall. How hard it must be to find a partner. How hard it must be to earn leadership roles. This poem could also target other audiences, too, however. This could also target women who are shorter, someone being denied a job because their other candidate was conventionally more attractive, people with skin conditions like a serious case of acne, and so much more. I will say that I consider myself lucky and privileged. I do not have any visible defects. I will never know what it is like to be discriminated against for this. I know what it is like to be self-conscious, though, and to be self-conscious is already a big enough problem in itself. Let's challenge society's norms and start accepting people for who they truly are. My final poem is called The Mental Angst of Our Past, and it's about substance use history discrimination. The mental angst of our past. You won't hire me. My past addiction beats me. I won't make it here. I have known many people in my life who have struggled with this. Substance use, at one time, was an escape for these people. It was the only way to feel better. But once we overcome our mental hardships, we can overcome anything. We can even overcome the stigmatization from society. This poem specifically illustrates how difficult it is for someone with a past addiction or substance use history to find a job. For instance, if their substance use history shows up on a background check. My past addiction beats me is a more metaphorical way of saying that people overlooked your talent and skill for something from your past. We can also see this discrimination in medical offices, when doctors dismiss people's pain and automatically assume that they are seeking drug use again. Our past does not define us, and certainly not a period of time where we were not able to use coping skills in a safer way. Sometimes it feels like the only way out. Thank you. I hope you learned something today.